Today, we're going to meet an absolute giant of ancient thought. We're talking about a man from 2,500 years ago who didn't just write down the rules of a language, he basically wrote the code for it. Get ready to explore the incredible mind of Panini, the genius who programmed Sanskrit. So let me ask you this. Can a grammar book, of all things, really tell you the story of an entire time period? I know, it sounds a little strange, right? But believe it or not, we're about to dive into a 2,500-year-old text that does exactly that. It's not just a linguistic masterpiece, it's an accidental time capsule of ancient India. Okay, so first things first, let's get properly introduced to the man himself, Panini. His work isn't just, important. It's a foundational pillar of Indian intellectual history, and you're about to see exactly why. To really get what Panini was all about, you have to understand this one idea. In his world, grammar wasn't some boring subject you had to suffer through in school. No way. It was considered the highest of all sciences, the key that unlocked literally all other forms of knowledge. And listen, this isn't an exaggeration. Panini's system was so brilliant, so airtight, that it essentially froze Sanskrit in its perfect classical form. It preserved the language with such amazing clarity that we can still understand it thousands of years later. He really did give it a kind of immortality. All right, let's talk about his magnum opus, the Ashtadhyayi, which means the 8 chapters. And that subtitle, the Kailasa of language, is perfect. It gives you a sense of its truly epic, monumental scale. 3,995. Get this. That's the total number of sutras, or supercondensed rules, that Panini used to map out the entire grammar of classical Sanskrit. It is just an unbelievable feat of intellectual compression. I love this analogy because it gets right to the heart of what he accomplished. People often compare his work to the Kailasa temple, which was famously carved out of a single giant mountain. It suggests that the Ashtadhyayi wasn't just built piece by piece, it was a complete, perfect system that he envisioned all at once. And this was pretty much the reaction at the time. Panini's work is great and well-structured. You can almost hear the cheer going up in the intellectual community, just this universal recognition that he had created something truly perfect. So, the big question is, how on earth did he pull this off? How do you pack a whole language into less than 4,000 rules? Well, the secret is in his method, the sutra style. The sutra style is this incredible Indian method of writing. The best way to think about it is like elegant, super efficient lines of computer code. Each rule is incredibly short, leaves zero room for doubt, and can generate a huge number of correct sentences. Panini didn't invent this style, but man, did he perfect it. But this brings up a really tricky problem, right? Language isn't static. It's alive, it's messy, it's always changing. So how do you create a perfect set of rules for something so organic without just sounding like a rigid textbook that ignores how people actually talk? That was Panini's biggest challenge. And this is where his genius really shines. See, on one side, you had the dogmatic folks who insisted that every single word had to be logically traced back to a root. And on the other side, you had people who just observed how language was used. Instead of picking a lane, Panini did something brilliant. He created a synthesis, a middle path. His method was this beautiful 3-step process. First, he built this powerful engine for deriving words from roots and suffixes. But second, and this is key, if a word didn't fit the rules, he'd accept it anyway, based on what he called proof from the people. Basically, if everyone's using it, it's correct. And finally, he built in escape hatches, using terms like bahulam or variously to allow for exceptions. It was this perfect blend of hardcore logic and real-world common sense. Okay, and this is where the story gets really fascinating and honestly a little unexpected. Because in his mission to perfectly describe the language, Panini accidentally ended up documenting his entire world. Think about it. To come up with examples for his thousands of rules, he needed words. Tons of them. So he pulled words from every single part of the world around him. And what we're left with is this accidental encyclopedia, a perfect snapshot of his time, preserved in what you could call linguistic amber. I mean, just look at this. The scope is just mind-blowing. Through his simple grammar examples, we find out about the geography, the economy, what jobs people had, from weavers to moneylenders, how society was structured, even how the government worked. It's an incredibly rich, detailed picture of an ancient world. And here's the clincher that proves he was describing a living, breathing language.
He actually has rules for the right way to pronounce a word when you're shouting to someone far away, or how your accent should change when you're replying to a greeting. This is not the grammar of some dusty old book. This is the grammar of the marketplace, the home, the street, of real life.
So let's bring it all together. Why does a 2,500-year-old grammar book still matter so much today? What exactly is Panini's immortal legacy?
Well, his influence is just staggering. First, he structured Sanskrit itself. Then, for centuries, his work was the bedrock of Indian philosophy. Fast forward to the 19th century, when Western scholars found his work, it blew their minds and helped create the modern science of linguistics. And today, his idea of a generative grammar, generating a language from a set of rules, is studied by computer scientists and AI researchers. He was, quite literally, a language programmer.
And this is really the bottom line. Because of its incredible precision and that accidental encyclopedia we talked about, historians now see the Ashtadhyayi as a primary source that's as solid and reliable as an ancient stone inscription or a buried treasure of old coins. It's an amazingly clear window into the past. So I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Does binding a language with rules limit it, or does it actually free it up for infinite possibilities? What Panini's incredible work suggests is that when you truly understand the deep, elegant structure of a system, you don't trap it, you unlock its true creative power. Pretty cool thing to think about.